Hello everybody, welcome back to my first ever YouTube video. This is really corny, I'm so sorry. But anyway, I'm gonna be telling you guys my top 10 tips to be a director. So without further ado, anyway, oh wait, before we start, I've been thinking of doing this video for quite a while. So yeah. So let's just get into this and go on to tip 1. Tip 1. Alright, so number 1 is location. Now, location's important for multiple reasons. Location is so important. Is the type of movie. If you're doing a horror movie, or you have a scene that takes place in certain areas, you need to find a map that matches an area, like Metropolis. Metropolis is possibly one of the best maps for superhero movies, anything like that, because it's a city. And we all love cities. And another really important factor with this is also if you're doing a horror movie or like a mining movie, you would probably want to use caves. I don't know who makes a mining movie. And another really important thing is V-Stump. V-Stump is very, very important because there's so many maps on there that you can use. They probably aren't some of them aren't obviously up to this standards like Metropolis, but they're still really, really useful. And yeah, well, that's all for number 1. I haven't really nothing else to say, but let's go on to number 2. Alright, anyway, so now the second tip is story. Now. Story is the most important, by far. It outscales all of it. Because if you have a bad story, you're gonna get bad stuff, yeah. So, the main thing when you do this is you need to have a good story. To make a good story is kind of hard, but you need to think of a base idea. Like, for example, there's a kid, there's a dad, and the dad goes missing or something, and the kid wants to find out what happened. So this could be a mystery. It could be a mystery movie. Now, you need to make it a good story. And a good way to do that is to try and base it off other real life movies. And now, you might say, oh, that's just stupid. But if you have ideas or scenes from other movies, it will help out because obviously real life movies are good. Obviously they have better quality and better good props and all that stuff because it's real life. And you also want to just try and like use ideas from other things, like find a story that has the sort of same plot you have and try and find what aspects they used. But anyway, that's all I have for this. It's really important. I would explain this more. Alright, now to carry on about plot and story. Now, you need to have a plot twist. This is what it has. You need to have a climax and something that's low. So you need to have an event that makes a climax. Then that climax needs to decrease back down. That's how you make a good story. So you need to have a starter, an event, high climax, and a low climax down to the ending. And just from that, we're gonna go on to point 3. Actors are really, really, really important for main reasons. Because if you have a dead character, but then it's played by a 4-year-old, it's not gonna look good. Now, to gather actors is the main thing. Is you'll need a Discord server. These are really important. Discord servers help a lot. Quite a lot of people do it. They have tryouts people do, you know, they host announcements that you can do too. And yeah, it's really important. And in my experience, I would try and go more for a voice actor. Because you could have someone that has a really, really good, like, text tryout, but then they sound like a 4-year-old. No offense to people that sound like a 4-year-old. There's nothing against that. That's why I'd rather go to more of a voice tryout, where you can actually hear their voice, and you know, and also characters and if you have a kid character, maybe you can use that, but also make sure the actor is good. Now, this is another important aspect. Remember, the actor is playing the character, and if you have an actor that doesn't play the character well, let's say you have like a main villain that needs to have a really deep voice, needs to be really badass, but then he has a really high-pitched voice and doesn't sound badass, it's gonna look stupid. Now, this is where personal tryouts come in. This is where you join a code or call with this person, and you like explain, you voices, and you do lines. Now this is also important. This is also which comes onto tryouts for actors. Is you get someone into a code, you would tell them a line. It doesn't need to be from the script or anything. It can just be a line you made up and make them say it that is roughly similar to the character you want them to play or say. But yeah, that's enough for tip 3. There's a lot to go through, so let's go on to tip 4. Alright, now tip number 4 is camera placement. This is probably the second best tip I can give you. It may not be good. If you have an intense dramatic scene, you don't want to have the camera far away. And this also comes into FOV and smoothness on your camera. So I like my FOV to be around 30 to 35 with a max smoothness on at all times, no matter what. With fight scenes is, if I have a fight scene but the camera stays still and all you see is just and the fight carries on. You see, as I've walked out of frame, you don't want to keep the camera still, and trust me, I've learned this from my own experiences with movies. But if you have a cameraman, you have 2 actors and they're having a fight, but you keep the camera still and you go waddle off and do something else, it's gonna look stupid. When it comes to fight scenes, is you want to hold the camera and you want to follow with the punch. Oh, look how much better that looks already. And my door just opened. Anyway, now, to carry on and finish off camera movement is dramaticness and just scenes. If you have a scene of someone walking out of stump, you might want to do a far away shot or a close-up shot. That's a scene you can make up yourself. I personally do a far away shot, so you actually show what's happening around them. Is also just camera placement. Sometimes you have low shots, high shots, side shots, and face shots. Face shots are like a scene where it's like up to their face, and then they will say a line like, and then it looks better. You can also do a low down shot like that, up high shot like that. And it's a lot to go through. But anyway, this is really long, so let's go on to point 2. No, oh my... Alright, point 5 is background actors. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, background actors can't be that important, can they? Hear me out. If you have a scene of a city, and you have one person walking through a scene, he's walking, it's a city. It's going to be a lively city. And if you have a singular person walking through a lively city with no one around, no sounds or anything, it's going to look stupid. Sorry. So you want to get background actors. Now the easiest way to get background actors, it doesn't matter about how tall they are, their arm length, their voice, how many cosmetics they have. You get them in a code, you say look like this or this, a civilian, maybe an evil like a minion, or something like that, and you just say, be here and walk that way. It's really simple. Sometimes you get people that grief. Griefing is probably another point I might get onto. That's basically all for background actors. Now let's get on to point... What point's this? 6? 7? And tip 7. Now, this is strictness and kindness. This is a really simple about being a director. You can be as strict as you want or as nice as you want. Personally, me, I'm more on the nice side. I absolutely love my actors. They're amazing, and I do really appreciate them. Now, strict sides. These are the directors who I personally despise. I don't understand how you can be strict to kids having fun. I know you want to get stuff done, but it's just... I know, you can be strict to one or happy, or as kind as you want. I don't really care, it's something up to me. But in my opinion, try and stay in the middle where your actors will actually I'm not gonna say this isn't to anyone or anything. This is just in my personal experience. If you're strict, actors are gonna hate you more. And I'm gonna be so for real. This is quite if you're a popular person, let's say you have 20,000 subscribers on YouTube, and you're a strict director, you're probably going to get a little bit less actors than you would hope to get, as you'll have 20,000 subscribers. But if you have 20,000 subscribers, you're a nice director, I care about my actors and their well-being and all that stuff. But if you're kind, you have lots of subscribers, lots of actors, you're nice to them, you're going to get a lot more done, and it also is recording. Now, you want to be nice to your actors, because if you're recording a scene and you tell them to be quiet and they don't be quiet, mute them and say, go to mountains and I'll call you when you're done. It's simple. You don't need to shout at them saying, shut up, you suck at acting. I remember that. I've had that experience with my for point 8 is going to be, actually I'm not even going to tell you, let's just go on to point 8 now. Alright, point 8 is cosmetics. Now, cosmetics is by hand some of the important. It's not as important as location and camera placement, but it is important, because if you have a character and he's supposed to be badass but he's wearing the party hat, it's not going to look cool. Or if you have a teenager, you want headphones, a businessman, a top hat, maybe cowboy hat for a cowboy. This also comes into a lot of other aspects, such as weapons. If you have an action movie and you probably want this, or you want the hammer, there's even goofy ones. You're gonna have characters that look goofy if they have cosmetics like this. I fuck that pirate thing, so annoying. Anyway, and if you want a school kid, perfect. The school arcade flashbacks here, so it's perfect if you want to do a school movie. They're all here, Got the nerd. You got the kid from Finding Nemo. Anyone get the niche? Anyway, that's basically all for cosmetics. Obviously, you want back cosmetics, which I don't have on this account. My other one does. You want the black umbrella, maybe any umbrella that you can pull on your back. There's some good cosmetics, especially in the part up there, like the swords. I would show you them, but I didn't select them, so I'm gonna go do that now. Around here. So basically, is this cosmetics good? This is a back. It's a sword, so obviously it's going to be good. But it has interactions with the ground, which also makes it good for scenes. Same with this sword. This sword's also really good. I can't buy it. I'm a broke boy. Then there's the guns. This gun isn't the best in my opinion. You probably want to have something like a flamethrower gun. It is good. And it shoots and it looks cool, so it is alright. And then you have cosmetics like these. These are also quite important. They're interactables that create a sort of effect. Now this is a really cool item. It can be used for countless of characters. We have a guy that creates shields and he's invincible in the shield, but it only lasts a certain amount of time. Like there. This cosmetic alone can be its own plot. These are good cosmetics, especially this one. But let's go on to point 9, which is I actually forgot, but let's go on point. Now, tip number 9 is quite simple. It's just making movies. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself again, what does that have to do with this? Obviously, but think about it. To make a movie, it is not stressful. It's a game with people. It's a little stressful, alright? You need to create a Discord server if you want to. This is completely optional. You don't need to do this. It does help out a lot. You need to get actors. You need to create you need to get a script. You need to get a thumbnail. You need to record. You need to edit. Point 10, I'm going to get into editing. But just for this, it is quite important, because if you don't have the right materials to make a movie, then I wouldn't even suggest making a movie, because point 11, which is just an extra one, will explain why. Because anyway, that's point 11. But think making a movie is quite hard. Obviously editing, but when you're famous, when you have more subscribers, more actors, it'll get less and less, because you can get people to make your thumbnails for you. You can I don't even know. You can make your scripts. You can make your scripts. Send them to other people, like your mods or co-owners or anything that you have. You can let them to help to get the actors. See the maps you could use, and all that stuff. But let's go on to point 10. Right now, point 10 is editing. Now, I'm not going to show you editing because I really just don't have the time for this. And anyway, so point 10 is editing. Now, if I throw a punch, but you put a metal sound effect, it's going to look dumb. I'll put an example. Does that not sound stupid? That sounds stupid. You need to make sure the sound effects match what you're doing. You could add ambiences. You can even create your own custom footsteps, which is what I would not suggest. Do not do that. It takes way too much time. You can do it if you want to. In my personal experience, I wouldn't. Second of all is just like make the editing good, because whenever I record, I say 1, 3, 2, 1 action, and I click record. Some people record 1, 2, 3 action. You can do it your own way. I personally say action and record. It's just easier. You also want to cut out, the starts, the ends. I would also double check that you have the right clips. If you do a scene and an actor fumbles and then, you carry on recording, you want to cut out the fumbled scene and actually have the scene that's good. Anyway, let's go on to point 11, the final point. I don't know why I had an extra one, but let's go on to that. Now, this is the painfulest point I'm going to make. Griefing. Now, griefing is single-handedly one of the biggest things that some movie directors experience, because this is what I said about movie making. If you don't have the materials to make a movie, I wouldn't personally suggest making a movie, because getting people from a public lobby it's just stupid. I'm sorry. If you go into a public lobby filled with kids, toxic people that just aren't nice, and you say, join this code to be in a movie, they're not gonna do the movie. Now, this is why you should have a Discord server. This is why I'm suggesting it again. You need to make sure you have personal. You need to make sure you know the actors. You know that they're good. You know that they're gonna do what you want to do. You can't join a server and say, join this code. You're not going to know if they're going to be good or bad. See, so I got lucky. I did the public code method and I found some good actors, and they're still in my server. They're mods and all that stuff, and they're really good. They're OGs. Try not to do public servers. I would not suggest it. If you don't have the materials, try to promote your code in a movie Discord. Now, big suggestions of this are F5 Studios. It has a section that says your movie, and you put your code in it and say, please join this code to play this character, or if you have these cosmetics, join this code, and it's all of that stuff, and it really does help a lot. But anyway, this is the final point I'm going to make, because this video is way too long than it should be. But yeah, those are my top 11 how to be a movie maker. Just make sure you watch out for griefers. You have good editing, and if you don't know how to edit, I would probably personally suggest to join the Gorilla Tag editing server. There's people that can edit well, sound effects you can use, all of that stuff. And then that's the final point I'm going to make. Have fun, have a great rest of your day. If you watched all the way to the end, you're a legend. Like and subscribe. Join my Discord too. I post announcements daily. Pretty active server, great mods. By the way, the what the guy is a meme. What the? And he disappears. It was
I nearly had a heart attack. What the?
Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Our hearts keep stopping by.
Funny at the time. It is in my server media if you want to go see it yourself. And I did it again!